Making movies is a magical method of bringing a filmmaker's imagination to life and distributing ideas of an escape from the pressures of reality among the everyday folk. Exciting visuals, hilarious jokes, powerful messages, and strong character developments aid the viewer in forgetting about the many burdens of the real world. Escape from reality can also come from simply staring at majestic paintings and stunning drawings. Various colors, details, and techniques combine to bring out an artist's ability to copy reality or invent an impossible fantasy. To me, the most superior form of making movies and drawing is creating an animated feature film. Animated films can overcome the limits of live-action feature films and drawing pictures. All types of animated films, whether they be hand-drawn, stop-motion, or computer-generated, for adults or for children, from our own world or of a foreign background, are capable of being considered classics, as long as the creators put enough time, patience, and judgment into their creation. My name is Andrew Shepard. I am the Philosopher of Animation, and this is Animated Movie Axioms. Normally, I have a much bigger interest in finding obscure or lesser-known animated films to show my deep interest in these movies. Seeing how this is my first episode, however, I decided to start with a movie that many of you will probably have more familiarity with, especially seeing how it's come from one of the biggest names in animation history. From the way I see it, the first company which pops up in everyone's mind the minute they hear the term animated film is Walt Disney Animation Studios, or Pixar Animation Studios. This makes a whole lot of sense because Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is more well known than The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, and Toy Story is way more well known than Whisper of the Heart. What better way to start than with my personal favorite of the 51 films featured in the Walt Disney Animated Studios filmography. My favorite is a fairly recent film of theirs, which is very passionate in the way it portrays its powerful theme, and makes extraordinary use of its hand-drawn animation style. Released on November 22nd, 1991, today's review is Beauty and the Beast. A young prince named Adam lives in a majestic castle where he has everything his heart desires. Despite his gifts and wealth, he is really spoiled and arrogant among his servants and the people living in the castle. One night, an enchantress transforms him into a hideous beast for refusing to allow her shelter in the castle. Doomed to remain a beast for the rest of his life, Adam has a chance of being turned back into a human if he can fall in love and be loved before the last petal of an enchanted rose falls on his 21st birthday. A young woman named Belle lives in a small French village close to the Beast's castle. Despite the attention she brings among the townfolk from her beauty, Belle is often ridiculed by the public for her love of reading and imagination. One day, Belle's father Maurice gets lost in the forest and chased by wolves while he is traveling to an invention fair. He seeks shelter in the Beast's castle, and is taken prisoner by the Beast, who accuses him of trespassing. Later on, Belle goes searching for her father after his horse arrives at their house without him. When she arrives at the castle, she offers to be the Beast's prisoner in exchange for her father's freedom. At first, both Belle and the Beast are resentful of one another, where Belle will not accept the Beast on account of his fierce attitude and hideous appearance, and the Beast sees Belle as too stubborn to see his true nature. After the Beast rescues Belle from attacking wolves, both Belle and the Beast begin to form a powerful friendship with one another. Beauty and the Beast is such a wonderful movie. It's got everything I love about animated films present. This movie was released right around the time Disney was going through their major success period in the early 90s, known as the Disney Renaissance, right after they were recovering from a series of failures released throughout the 70s and 80s. Although The Little Mermaid was considered the start of the Renaissance for achieving both critical and financial success, I think Beauty and the Beast involved Disney taking a much further step in creating an animated masterpiece. First is the movie's main protagonist, Belle. Belle is one of my favorite Disney heroines, and characters overall. Just at the start of the film, the viewer can tell how much personality she has. Not only is Belle beautiful, but she also has many influential traits, which support her character. She's smart, very caring, and able to look after herself.
I'm very sorry, Gaston, but I just don't deserve you.
The people of her village purely obsess about her beauty, but fail to view her as one of them on account of her unique interests. She strives for acceptance, but isn't sure where she will find it.
Oh, I don't know. It's just that I'm not sure I fit in here. There's no one I can really talk to.
Despite her caring nature and intelligence, there is one minor flaw in her character, which serves as her character development throughout the course of the film. Though she is not necessarily mean to anyone, Belle starts off acting somewhat stubborn among others, especially with the film's other main protagonist.
What's taking so long?
Unlike Belle, the Beast, or Prince Adam, is inconsiderate, not very bright, and a bit weak-minded. On the outside, he is depicted as a brutal and savage monster with a ferocious temper. However, in relating to the movie's theme, even at the beginning, the viewer can sense a sympathetic side to him. He is very harsh to Belle, and unsuccessfully tries to make friends with her, by rudely forcing her into doing something with him.
You will join me for dinner. That's not a request.
Stop!
Get out!
Every time he wrongs Belle, or frightens her, he drowns himself in shame.
Hold still. This might sting a little.
The first time we see a big shift in the Beast's character, as well as Belle's, occurs after he rescues her. Belle thanks the Beast for saving her life, and the Beast thanks Belle for going back to him to tend to his wound. At this point in the movie, both of them are aware of the deep feelings they have for each other, and the Beast, who now is a friend, begins to learn about gratitude. Now, while the movie's two leading characters both go through a positive character development, what do you suppose goes through the character development of the movie's main villain? In relating to the common flaw of human nature, where beauty is viewed more on the outside than on the inside, the main villain, Gaston, is seen as a hero to the townfolk for his intelligence in fighting and killing things, his handsome appearance, but can be seen by the audience, as well as Belle, as a conceited, arrogant jerk.
Well, of course, I mean, you do, but...
Yeah, you deserve the best therapist, you creep. The way Belle refuses to accept Gaston's unsophisticated offer to marry him gives the audience an early idea of how talent and looks can't really determine if someone will make a good friend, or lifetime partner for that matter.
Make no mistake about that.
Can't do this.
Poor Belle.
Like most antagonists, in character development, he just goes from bad to worse. Once a jerk, Gaston transforms himself into a real villain after he gathers the people who admire him to support the unnecessary arrest of Belle's father Maurice, unless Belle will marry him, and then to attack the Beast, whom he accuses of being a threat, even though he's never met the Beast.
Let him wander free, so it's time to take some action, boys. It's time to follow me.
Gaston's character also illustrates the consequences of believing a false leader. The villagers who support Gaston make themselves into villains in agreeing with Gaston's selfish belief to threaten the innocent Beast. And look what could have been prevented if you guys had just listened to Belle.
Now!
Never judge a book by its cover, boys. Or for Gaston's sake, never judge a leader based on his skills. Be sure to judge his intelligence first. Though this movie has lots of really good supporting characters as well, to me, the characters of Belle, the Beast, and Gaston are the primary ones who shape the development of its intended theme the best. So with that out of the way, let's move on to this movie's superb soundtrack. Film composers Alan Menken and the late Howard Ashman turned this movie into the theme song of their careers. The music of this movie immediately comes to my mind when I think of either one of the two. Though it's tragic that this was Howard Ashman's last film before he passed away after the film's completion, it seems appropriate that he would pass his legacy on with a great repertoire of songs. First is the opening number dedicated to Belle, where we hear both positive, but mostly negative opinions about her from the townfolk. And we find out why Belle is special, yet somewhat odd. Then there is the number dedicated to Gaston during his pre-villainous moment of the film, which dwells further into his eccentric, yet commendable nature, thus later leading him to commit to graver actions. The short, yet touching number, Something There, serves as the perfect way of showing the climax, where both Belle and the Beast discover the true natures of one another, and have now become friends.
You know, perhaps there's something there that wasn't there before.
What?
There may be something there that wasn't there before.
Finally, there's the dramatic and threatening mob song, where Gaston is endowed as a full-fledged villain, supported by a group of egotistic followers. With its detrimental lyrics and grim emotion, there is a vast sense of victimization among Gaston and his followers in a non-sympathetic fashion. Now, as with most Disney soundtracks, this movie has its share of rousing ensemble numbers. Songs that get the audience engaged, to have fun, lots of dancing, lots of entertainment, and sometimes they may detract a little from the plot, but generally have something to do with the movie later on.
Guest, be our guest, put our service to the test.
In the case of this film, that song is the energetic Be Our Guest, sung by the supporting furniture cast. This song is literally full of life. It's performed in the style of a modern Broadway hit, which works considering that the film's time period is way out of that league. The scene features not only really good music, but remarkable animated choreography and some of the most colorful animation in the movie. Overall, Be Our Guest only slightly detracts the viewer from the somewhat serious tone of the film, and fits in with the movie really well. With its inviting tone and encouraging lyrics, the song sets the viewer up for a drastic, but promising change in the tone of the castle's setting.